Georgia is the manager of a high-end hotel that attracts guests of all kinds who are all looking to escape from their everyday lives and come to the hotel as a sanctuary over the holidays. Georgia's work and personal life become entangled when she is caught between the hotel's chef Luke and the sophisticated ex-prince staying at the hotel during the holidays. Hotel Fontaine, located in New York City, is considered to be a home for the holidays, and the cracked walls prove its long years of accommodating guests. Georgia, the attractive, sweet, and dedicated hotel manager, hides the cracks with the Jingle Mingle invitation standee. Jingle Mingle is a special event on Christmas Eve, made for singles and those who are ready to mingle. This is Georgia's idea, but she assigns Kiki, her best friend and associate, to be in charge of everything. Guests flock to Hotel Fontaine just 5 days before Christmas, which makes Georgia and the staff occupied with many different things. A broken-hearted guy, AJ, checks in with his cute but stubborn dog, Dickens. Apart from Georgia and Kiki, there are also other outstanding employees at the hotel who have devoted all of their life to working there. One of them is an old woman named Florence, in charge of the lobby's minibar. And the oldest among all of them is Milton, a handyman on minor repairs. Outside, a demanding Santa street performer pisses Kiki off because he offers to help her, but only in exchange for a donation. Kiki wants to bring the 12 Days of Christmas song to life, so she bought a tree to represent the line "A partridge in a pear tree." Meanwhile, in the kitchen, Luke meticulously inspects the meal he prepared for Georgia. He secretly likes her, but only his best friend, Victor, an assistant chef, knows about this. Victor has a secret relationship with the room attendant, Anna, so he motivates Luke to confess his feelings and be happy like him. Luke serves the sandwich to Georgia, who looks stressed about the preparations for the hotel, down to every little detail. Luke calms her down by showing her his childhood picture at the tree as a young chef. Georgia's comfort food are the ones Luke makes, and she is grateful to have him as a friend. She knows his skills are way beyond the qualifications of the hotel, and she appreciates that he chooses to stay anyway. Luke stares into Georgia's eyes and tells her it's not the place that's important to him, but the people. Georgia is about to take a bite out of the sandwich, but the screams of guests in the lobby summons her to check it. It's the famous pop star, Pandora, and fans go wild as she makes her way to the reception desk. Georgia asks her name for confirmation, but the agent gets mad that she didn't recognize the infamous singer. Pandora checks in because her guru advised her to stay in a simple, zen space for the holidays. Georgia offers to give her the queen room, but the singer demands a presidential suite. While Georgia deals with difficult customers, chemistry flourishes between Milton and Florence at the bar as Milton fixes the sink in her station. Another important guest arrives, and it's Prince Raymond of Caspernia. He prefers to be away from his family on the holidays, and it's his first time in New York. Raymond refuses to be addressed as a prince, ever since he recently gave up his title. He also requests Georgia not to give him any special treatment, because he wants to hide his identity as much as possible. Right after Georgia assures him that the hotel values his privacy and personal information, Kiki screams the prince's name. She saw a scoop about Raymond celebrating the holidays in New York, but she did not expect it to be real. Kiki dreams of being his princess, and she finds it magical that their paths crossed. Georgia interrupts Kiki's fangirling moment and apologizes to the prince. Raymond doesn't mind it. He's more annoyed with his overprotective bodyguard. Georgia leaves Kiki to be in charge at the front desk because she has a Zoom meeting with Madame Fontaine. Georgia sneaks into the office because she doesn't want anyone to see her. However, she freaks when she sees Milton fixing the light bulb inside. Georgia requests him to resume work later because she has an important thing to do. Madame Fontaine is on vacation when Georgia pitches her new hotel proposal. She plans to resign and start the hotel she calls Auberge Modern. However, Georgia can't afford a building, so she partners up with Madame Fontaine. All she asks is 49% ownership and a position as executive director. Madame Fontaine loves her idea, but she hates modernity and wants to keep Hotel Fontaine. The wealthy lady loves traveling, and she finds it stressful to have another hotel to manage. Georgia assures her that she will take care of everything for Auberge Modern, as long as she funds this. Also, there is no need to close Hotel Fontaine, because the new hotel will only be its modern counterpart in the city. Madame refuses again, but offers to invest half of the amount needed. The project would still be impossible to start, because Georgia does not know where to get the rest of the money she needs. Regardless, she remains hopeful and requests Madame Fontaine to keep their conversation a secret, because nobody knows about her resignation, not even her best friend, Kiki. After the failed proposal, Georgia visits the rooftop to unwind. She has been bothered by different things in the past weeks, and aside from the Christmas rush at the hotel, not telling her close friends at work about her plan concerns her. Luke offers her a hot drink because he can feel she's stressed over something. Georgia appreciates his sweet gesture, but refuses to tell him about her problem. Instead, she confesses that she doesn't want to end up like her parents. Her mom and dad worked so hard in their life, but they never got to buy a home. Georgia wants to own something, because she feels like she accomplished nothing in her 2 years of working hard at Hotel Fontaine. Luke asks her if he can do anything to help. Georgia jokingly tells him that she wants to loan a pile of cash from him. The next day, AJ panics because Dickens escaped. He meets the Santa man at the hotel's entrance, so he asks if he has seen his dog. The Santa guy asks him to donate some money before he tells him the information. AJ drops money into his donation bucket, but he leaves, frustrated because Santa never saw Dickens. Kiki arrives at the hotel, and she is annoyed by the Santa man too. At the front desk, Georgia negotiates a loan to her bank. However, it is impossible to borrow a huge amount since she doesn't own a property. Kiki lights up her mood and changes the topic, telling Georgia that she dreamed of Prince Raymond last night. Kiki wants the prince to realize that they are meant for each other. In reality, Kiki dreams of being wealthy, and she's only up for his money. Georgia finds her idea silly and reminds her not to bother their guests. Milton discovers a gift in the supplies closet. It has a green ribbon, and the card says it's from someone who secretly admires him. Milton looks around to search for a woman who could possibly be behind this. He suspects it's from Florence because she keeps smiling. Milton's heart flutters because he's secretly into her, and this means she likes him too. He opens the gift, and it's a red scarf. Milton wears this and shows it to Florence, who gives him a thumbs up. Meanwhile, Raymond, along with his bodyguard, plan to stroll around the city. However, reporters and paparazzi block the entrance. Georgia apologizes for the inconvenience and leads them to an alternative exit that only staff know. It's an old staircase, but Raymond doesn't mind this because he's tired of grand stairs anyway. Georgia gives him a card to use during his stay, but Raymond requests more. He wants to go sightseeing around, but he is not familiar with the surroundings. Georgia pauses because she doesn't know who she can ask for help. At the suite, Pandora is bothered by the news about her flop album. She can't handle the stress anymore, but her guru doesn't pick up her call. Pandora's agent, Timothy, tells her upfront that she's not relatable to ordinary people, which significantly affects her career. Pandora looks at herself in the mirror and realizes Timothy makes sense. Pandora's style makes her look intimidating and unapproachable, so she removes her pink wig. Meanwhile, Georgia offers to show Raymond around, so she calls Kiki to be in charge at the front desk. Georgia brings the Auberge Modern brochure because she plans to show it to the prince. Downstairs, she unexpectedly runs into Luke. He wonders why she would go out for lunch when he can just cook something for her. Luke offers to go with her since he needs to buy some ingredients from the market. Georgia makes excuses to discourage him from coming along, so Luke lets her taste the eggnog he made before she leaves. He will serve this at the jingle mingle if she approves it. Georgia gives the mug back to him after tasting it and rushes downstairs. Georgia buys Raymond some street food, even if he can only taste it after his bodyguard checks it. Raymond's security man is also his previous food taster from the palace. Georgia asks him why he left his royal life when he had everything there. Raymond replies that he wants to have something he can call his own, because he's tired of sharing things with his 11 brothers and sisters. An idea pops into Georgia's mind after hearing this. At the hotel, Pandora takes a deep breath before stepping out of the elevator, because it's her first time in public without her pink wig. Pandora smiles at Kiki, but she doesn't recognize her. Pandora introduces herself as Pam, the temporary employee Georgia hired for the jingle mingle. Kiki is happy to meet her because she can't handle the stress for the event alone, and there are a lot of things to take care of. Kiki gives the manager's pin to Milton because she will head out to the market with Pam. Milton dreams of being a manager, and he shows the pin to Florence with a smile. Outside, Pandora panics when she sees reporters at the entrance, but they don't recognize her either. The Santa guy, on the other hand, annoys Kiki again, while AJ continues trying to find his dog, Dickens. Georgia visits the ice skating rink at the Rockefeller Center, where she pitches her modern hotel idea. Georgia assures him she will take care of everything if he provides half of the capital and grants her 49% ownership as the future executive director of Auberge Modern. Raymond refuses because he's not accustomed to the hotel industry, and he will leave New York after the holidays. Georgia is persistent and tells him that 800,000 visitors a day pass Rockefeller Center alone, and that those guests need a place to stay. Raymond remains unconvinced since he barely knows the city. Because of this, Georgia pleads to give her a chance to tour him around the place. She also proposes a deal that if he ever falls in love with New York, he will fund the hotel. But if things turn the opposite way, he can fly home immediately, and she won't try to stop him. Raymond accepts the deal and kisses her hand. Luke stands right behind them and sees everything. He is jealous that Georgia skipped their lunch earlier, just to spend time with another guy. At the market, Pandora is amused to experience how joyful Christmas can be. Back then, her life revolved around dance rehearsals and voice lessons, so she never had time to spend holidays like a normal kid. Kiki lets her try gingerbread and brings her to a shop that sells the most delicious hot chocolate. Dickens is around the vicinity, and a random guy, Hunter, finds him. Georgia asks Luke to cook for her and Prince Raymond. The prince invited her for dinner, and she wanted him to taste Luke's specialties. Georgia requests to dine in a private place since she will be with royalty and they need privacy. Luke suggests that the rooftop is the best location, and he assures her he will prepare the best meal for them. Deep inside, he is hurt that Georgia is going out with someone else, especially a prince. While Kiki assembles the jingle mingle venue with the 12 Days of Christmas song theme, Georgia scolds her for leaving Milton at the front desk. He has other tasks, and she doubts he can handle the guests. Kiki wonders why she is furious, when Milton actually does a good job at the front desk. Georgia walks out and mutters to herself that she can't wait to leave the hotel. Later that day, Georgia looks stunning in her black, off-the-shoulder dress, and she instantly catches Luke's attention. However, it pains Luke that she dressed well only to impress Raymond. Pandora panics because she seems to lose her rhythm in writing songs. Timothy cheers her up and shows her the normal clothes he bought for her earlier, which she can wear for Christmas. Luke and Victor welcome Georgia and her date on the rooftop, as they were the ones who prepared a candlelit dinner. Luke is shocked because he never expected the prince to be the guy who kissed Georgia's hand. Georgia notices that Luke is being rude to Raymond as he serves the wine. She sends him to the kitchen before he ruins the prince's night and disapproves of her business proposal again. Meanwhile, Luke tells Victor that he senses something between Georgia and the prince. He instructs Victor to cancel the fine dining experience and serve a different menu. Raymond agrees with his father that it's best to talk business after his stomach is full, so he will decide after dinner. Georgia pleads with him not to mention a thing about the hotel, because she doesn't want her co-employees to know. She changes the topic and wonders what it is like to stay in a palace. Raymond dismisses her magical fantasies, because he had an unpleasant life as a royal. He never even gets to wear sweatpants, just because the rules are that strict. Georgia now understands why he looks happy to set foot in a different environment, and she can somehow relate. When she moved to New York, she felt great, living independently. Luke interrupts their conversation as he serves the menu for the night. He is proud to present the recipe he learned from his great-grandparents and assures them that all the ingredients are fresh from the market. Luke opens the lid, and Georgia is shocked to see a pizza. Out of disappointment, Georgia excuses herself from Raymond to talk to Luke privately. She scolds him for his rude attitude earlier and the dinner he served. Luke tries to defend himself by saying that he wouldn't behave like that if she told him what was going on between her and the prince. Georgia simply says that it's something important for her, but she can't disclose it at the moment. Luke confronts her about Raymond kissing her hand. Georgia is annoyed with him for overthinking about unnecessary things like that. Raymond is a prince, and it's a normal thing for them to do. Surprisingly, Raymond loves the pizza because it's his first time eating it, since he's not allowed to have one at the palace. Meanwhile, Florence is sad that her son and daughter-in-law can't spend time with her on Christmas Eve. Milton is concerned about her and comforts her. He proudly displays the red scarf she gave him. Milton's effort is successful because Florence smiles and compliments him for wearing it. Anna sees the exchange and notices that the scarf Milton is wearing is actually her Christmas gift for Victor. After the dinner, Raymond tells Georgia that Luke seems to hate him. Georgia tells him that they have been friends for years and they know each other well. Raymond doubts they are only friends because he senses something different from how Luke acted earlier. Raymond agrees to be Georgia's business partner. Georgia hugs him out of excitement because it's her lifelong dream to have a hotel. Later that night, Georgia calls Madame Fontaine and tells her that the prince agreed to fund the remaining half of the amount needed. Because of this, Madame Fontaine gives her the green light to proceed with her plan and find the new building they will buy. The next day, Hunter brings Dickens back to AJ. He discovers that he and AJ are both single and recently broke up with their partners. Hunter invites him to the Jingle Mingle to hang out. However, AJ refuses because he's not ready to date someone again. In the kitchen, Luke is bothered by Raymond and George's budding friendship. Victor blames it all on him because he did not confess his feelings when he had the chance. He encourages Luke to give the sandwich to Georgia and confess his feelings before the prince wins her heart. Meanwhile, Kiki visits Georgia's office to apologize because she seemed mad the last time they talked. She discovers the Auberge Modern brochure with Georgia's name as the executive director. In the lobby, Luke apologizes to Georgia for how he ruined her dinner with Raymond. When Luke is about to confess, the prince calls for Georgia to follow him to the car. Luke is disappointed with himself and gives the sandwich to Florence instead. Anna talks to Milton about the scarf. Milton tells her he got it at the supply closet from his secret admirer, whom he believes is Florence. He asks Anna to help him do something nice for her, because his dating moves are all rusty. At that moment, Anna tells him the truth, that the gift is supposed to be for Victor, and she hid it in the closet for Christmas Eve. Milton returns the scarf and realizes that no one would fall in love with an old man like him. Without his knowledge, Florence overheard everything, and she never expected him to be in love with her. After meeting each other, AJ thinks of Hunter every day, and he is grateful that he returned Dickens. He also develops feelings for Hunter, and he regrets turning down his invitation to the Jingle Mingle event. Meanwhile, Pandora loves to hang out with Kiki because she motivates her. When she doubts putting the icing on the gingerbread, Kiki tells her to do it her way, and not mind people's expectations, as she can't please everyone. Georgia and Raymond, on the other hand, find the best property for their hotel. The building is extremely modern, and Georgia can even open the doors through an app. Raymond advises her not to hire Luke as the hotel chef because he's unimpressed with his skills. 2 days before Christmas, AJ visits a pet store to buy Dickens boots that match his red outfit. The store owner is at the counter, and it is Hunter. AJ invites him for the jingle mingle this time, and Hunter accepts. AJ shares that he has been single for 6 months, that's why he gets emotional sometimes, and turns down date invitations. Hunter can relate, because he experienced something similar, but it's already been 2 years in his case. The next day, everyone is busy with the final touches of the jingle mingle event. Georgia arrives with red and green name tag boxes for singles, and people who are not ready to mingle. Kiki confronts her about Auberge Modern, and shows the brochure to Luke. Georgia panics and tells them that she will explain later. However, the staff overhears this and surrounds Georgia, waiting for her answer. Prince Raymond arrives and informs everyone that she will soon resign and work in her new hotel. The employees congratulate her, but they are unhappy with her decision. Georgia follows Kiki to apologize, but she pretends to be busy. In the lobby, Florence gives Milton a gift, and she makes sure his name is written on it this time. Milton loves the green scarf she bought for him and asks what he can do in return. Florence invites him for dinner later, since her son can't spend Christmas Eve with her. Meanwhile, Georgia shows Madame Fontaine the building for Auberge Modern. Unfortunately, Georgia's battery runs out, so she returns to the hotel instead. At the entrance, Georgia realizes that the door only opens through the app. Georgia panics because she left her phone's charger at the hotel. People pass by the building, but they can't hear Georgia's voice. Guests arrive at the jingle mingle. Kiki freaks out because she can't find Georgia. The performance she had planned for the 12 Days of Christmas song had just been canceled last minute. She remembers the Santa guy, so she invites him inside to perform. Similarly, Luke wonders where Georgia is, because she promised to attend the event. It's dark already, but Georgia remains stuck inside the building, screaming for help. People notice her, but no one bothers to open the door. The party starts, but Georgia doesn't arrive. Hunter texts AJ because he can't find him. AJ is in his suite as he prepares to leave the hotel. He doesn't want to meet Hunter anymore, but Dickens runs downstairs, so he follows him. Dickens's leash trips the Santa guy's foot, and he lands on the wirings of the decorations. The incident shuts down the electricity of the old hotel. Kiki blames it all on Santa, but his smile makes her fall in love with him. Meanwhile, Georgia is devastated that she can't attend the jingle mingle. Her memories with the staff at the hotel, and their reactions to her resignation, pop into her head. There is a giant and expensive white Christmas tree at the building, but nothing beats the crooked tree at Hotel Fontaine. Shortly after, Raymond's bodyguard arrives, and he breaks the door open for her. People are about to leave the party, but Victor's marriage proposal to Anna catches everyone's attention. Pandora plays the piano, and this makes the event even more romantic, along with the candles. Georgia arrives at the hotel and sees couples slowly dancing, despite the electricity problem. The lights are restored, moments after Georgia and Luke share a kiss next to the crooked Christmas tree. Everyone applauds Pandora's performance, including the prince, who happens to be a fan. Georgia announces to everyone that she wants to stay because she belongs in Hotel Fontaine. The next day, Pandora flies with Raymond to Caspernia because her album is a hit in the country. Madame Fontaine arrives and tells Georgia that she will be the new executive director of the Hotel Fontaine and grants her 49% ownership. Meanwhile, Kiki earns a marketing position, while Milton becomes the new hotel manager. The Jingle Mingle event is successful for new couples that blossomed, such as Pandora and Raymond, AJ and Hunter, Milton and Florence, and Kiki with the Santa guy. In the end, Georgia and Luke display their first selfie at the crooked Christmas tree and share a kiss after.